local for you. NBC4 at 11 starts now.
They did it! A unique game, a unique situation for Ohio State at the Rose Bowl, and it ended with one of the wildest finishes in Buckeye football history. Tonight, I think we're still catching our breath. Good evening, and thank you so much for joining us for NBC4 at 11. I am Jamie Ostroff in for Audrey Hassan tonight. A sluggish start for the Buckeyes, but OSU rallies. They came back to finish this season 11-2. We've got team coverage tonight. Our Whitney Harding is standing by with Coach Bill Conley. They're going to break down how the Bucks performed. But first, let's get out to Pasadena. Sports Director Jared Smalley joining us there live. And how's your heart rate, Jared?
Jamie, still calming down at this point. What a wild one here in Pasadena. Ohio State entered this game minus nearly a fourth of its entire football roster. 20 players out due to injury or illness, plus 4 of the Buckeyes' best players opting to sit this game out and get ready for the NFL draft. What unfolded tonight was one of the strangest, most frustrating, yet wildly entertaining, inspiring, and even record-setting performances in Ohio State history. C.J. Stroud, 45 minutes from his hometown, but Utah turned the Rose Bowl into a true road game for the Buckeyes. Massive fan support and a quick 14-0 lead. Stroud and the offense come alive, though, with touchdown tosses to Marvin Harrison Jr. and 2 others to Jackson Smith-Njigba. But it was a calamity of errors for OSU, allowing a kickoff return for a touchdown, and then, as Njigba's going in for another touchdown, Clark Phillips forces a fumble, and Utah recovers. 35-21 at the half. And Ryan Day's thoughts?
35 points in the first half is ridiculous.
Second half, the Buckeyes draw closer to get it to a 1-score game. Stroud back to Harrison Jr. for 2 more scores, and OSU ties the game at 38. And after Utah quarterback Cam Rising leaves the game with an injury, OSU can take the lead, and Stroud strikes with his 6th touchdown toss of the night. Again, Njigba, sensational grab as he tops 300 receiving yards. Buckeyes lead at 45-38. Utah responds. Backup quarterback Bryson Barnes now to Dalton Kincaid. Tie game, under 2 to play. So the Bucks go right back down the field, weaving, moving inside the Utah 5. Final seconds, they put it on the foot of Noah Ruggles to win the Rose Bowl.
And does his job.
48-45 the final, among the wildest games you'll ever see. Did you even envision this at all to get to this level?
I just envision, opportunities come my way. I mean, you never think that you're going to pull off something like that, but, opportunities came my way, and I just got to thank the Lord.
He does what he always does. I mean, he has a God-given talent just like I do, and we use him to our best ability. So, I mean, we're just super blessed.
Some of the guys who played in this game, I can't say enough about what they've left for a legacy behind, especially winning this game the way we did. And then for our younger guys, a couple of them sitting right here, the momentum now that we have moving forward is tremendous. We had a lot of work to do in the offseason, but we found out a little bit about our team in the second half here.
Let's go back to the studio now. Our Whitney Harding and Coach Bill Conley standing by to talk about, the Ohio State receiving corps. They were in the spotlight with the departures of Olave and Garrett Wilson, and the young guys stood tall.
Yeah, I mean, they absolutely balled out, Jared, is what the young kids say. And I'm here with Coach Bill Conley, our last Buckeye breakdown of the year. But let's talk about these young receivers. We know what Jackson Smith-Njigba did, but Marvin Harrison Jr., let's start with him.
Well, I'll tell you, he's tall, he's physical, and him and the other receivers, they're so good at not only catching the ball, but great route runners, fluid.
Yes.
Great body control, and get those very important yards after the receptions.
And we knew they were going to have to do a lot tonight, and it wasn't just Marvin Harrison Jr. and Jackson Smith-Njigba. They got the points, but Emeka Egbuka, we saw the flashes.
Yep.
We saw some flashes from him.
Absolutely, and he's got speed and quickness. That's why he also uses him as a returner.
Yeah.
The happiest man in the world is Brian Hartline. There's a bright future at the wide receiver position at Ohio State.
I think Buckeye fans pretty happy, too, because saw a little bit of this is what next year will be like. And Coach,
absolutely,
thank you for this season. It has been a blast. Jamie, let's send it back to you. More Buckeye coverage coming up later.
It is Buckeye bye week. That means buying rest time for Ohio State's 2-headed running back attack. The numbers for TreVeyon Henderson, not surprising, more than 6 yards per carry, averaging 87 yards per game. Not bad at all. But look at what Mayan Williams has done this season. 99 yards per game and nearly 8 yards per carry. That's second best in the nation right now. Henderson, of course, a 5-star recruit out of high school. Williams, a 3-star and a late addition to his recruiting class 3 years ago. Overlooked? No more.
Because I gotta be honest, when I first met him in recruiting, I was like, what the hell is this? You know, this guy doesn't talk. First impressions do go a long way, but they also can be wrong sometimes too.
When Miyan ran the football at Cincinnati Winton Woods, he left an impression. 68 touchdowns in high school, but only a 3-star rated recruit committed to Iowa State. Ohio State was admittedly less interested in Williams, and he noticed.
Came down to, I think he might have felt that I had slighted him a little bit, and I did. I said, I have to apologize to you. Whether you come to Ohio State or not, I have to clear my chest here. I have to apologize to you because I had the wrong impression of you, and I was wrong. I hope to think that was probably a big moment in our relationship.
You know, maybe he wasn't as highly recruited, but we just felt like we saw something in a kid from Cincinnati who ran hard.
So Williams signed and eventually starred at OSU, growing more vocal and determined to prove his worth.
Same stuff you see on the game, same thing you do every day at practice. So you just practice like a pro, so it show up on game day.
I'm super happy for Miyan, for real. That's my best friend on the team, and I've been enjoying. Me and him have been talking about moments like this forever.
He's a guy that this entire program leans on and loves him. He's, like I said, he brings so much value to this football program, and he's a good football player.
Starts now.
There's not much more to talk about. We've had a great month. The guys have done a really good job, and so now it's time to go play the game.
It is finally game night in Atlanta. Ohio State returns to the college football playoff and takes its shot at #1 ranked and undefeated Georgia. Thanks for joining us for NBC4 at 7. I'm Sierra Johnson. It's a special night for Buckeye fans across the nation as Ohio State will try to knock off the defending national champions. If the Bucks can earn the win tonight, they'll head to the national championship game January 9th. Let's get right to where it's all happening. Sports Director Jared Smalley is on the field at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, where the Buckeyes are due to arrive any moment now.
Well, good evening, Sierra. Ohio State arrives in this position here in Atlanta after 35 days of frustration, after all the work that went into the game plan to try to beat that team up north, the Wolverines, and it all went sideways. The Buckeyes did, however, get the bid and the opportunity to play for a national championship. And tonight on this field, a chance for redemption on one of the biggest stages in the sport.
It was an L, but I look at it as a lesson. If you either learn from lessons or you don't, and if you don't learn from it, then I'll count that as a loss. So, hopefully that we learn from this lesson that we had a month ago and just try to be better.
Everyone's just been really serious as to what we plan on doing, and so the last month of practice, everyone's been going at it full tilt, and I think that you can really see this on Saturday.
All the focus is just playing the fastest and most violent game we played all season here, Saturday night, 8 o'clock. And, I just think all the work that we put in this last month is going to now show. And our guys are going to play with confidence because we've had a really good month of prep.
I want to show you what it looked like when the Buckeyes arrived here at Mercedes-Benz Stadium tonight. Watch Ryan Day. He is fired up, getting after it, getting the fans involved. They have a little team walk in the backyard area, they call it, the tailgate area for fans here at the stadium as they walk in. C.J. Stroud and company, game face is on. We'll see if that materializes on the field tonight. Speaking of on the field, joined now by our Buckeye analyst, Coach Bill Connelly, to go through keys to the game. We've talked about this game from every conceivable angle, but what does this boil down to for you?
Well, I think offensively, first of all, Jared, we have to own the third quarter. We did not do that against Michigan, so make proper adjustments at halftime, come out third quarter, put points on the board. Number two, our defense cannot give up the big play. Michigan had 5 big plays that resulted in touchdowns. We can't let that happen. Limit Georgia's big plays. And last, and I think maybe the most important, is the mental attitude. We have to embrace being the underdog. Historically, Ohio State has done a great job of winning these games when we've been the underdog. Embrace the role.
And from an injury standpoint, Ohio State looks really good for this game, as good as they've looked in a long time. The only game time decision for this game is backup tight end G. Scott. They get Matt Jones back on guard. Ahead in Sports will explain why that's important. Another matchup that I think is really important is turnovers. What I'm talking about, Ohio State has 1 turnover in its past 4 games. That's not going to get it done tonight.
No, we're +7 for the year, but we had to. Now, we have seen all these bowl games, turnovers the name of the game. You know, defense has to get the ball, maybe score, or at least get it in good field position for your offense.
Well, here's what I know. In the college football playoff, upsets can happen. It's happening right now in Arizona, and it happened for these Buckeyes when they were a number 4 seed about 8 years ago. The precedent is out there. Now we'll see if they can follow through. It's a really good opponent they face. We got a lot more coming up in sports, and of course Pepsi Sports Saturday at 7:40, including a one-on-one interview with Buckeye quarterback C.J. Stroud. You do not want to miss. That is all ahead here as we continue our coverage from Atlanta and the Peach Bowl. Back to you, Sierra.
Those aren't sandwiches or beverages in Doug Malone's lunchbox. The veteran redcoat of 17 years has laundry bags full of Buckeyes at his house. The poisonous nut gets washed in a kiddie pool and brought to Ohio Stadium, where a promise is kept by a son to his father.
Be great today. Good luck today, Coach.
If you ask Doug Malone, luck isn't a 4-leaf clover.
Those Buckeyes are lucky. You got to take one.
I carry a Buckeye in my pocket at all times, yeah.
And ever since 2006, every Buckeye carries a Buckeye into Ohio Stadium.
Let's get him today, CJ.
It was before the 2005 Texas game, and somebody called out and said Coach Fickle needed a lucky Buckeye. And Dad happened to have one, and as he was walking back, he said, you know what, I think I'm going to start handing Buckeyes out to the team.
That's exactly what Ron Malone did for a decade, until his death in 2016.
Every day I'm here is special, you know, because I can kind of feel Dad's presence.
Although he's gone, the mark Ron Malone left endures.
During the 2015 season, that last game we saw together, he brought me down and showed me where to stand, where he typically stands, and he pointed to this mark and he said, this is where you need to be.
From band members to players and even redcoats, everybody has a place they need to be on game day.
Oh, these have a message on them.
Once again, the tradition is being passed down to the next generation.
Here recently, my daughter decided to attach messages to the Buckeyes. So yeah, we're all totally vested.
Vested in the Buckeyes and carrying on his dad's legacy.
You know, it's my dad's memory that really drives me more than anything else, because it's something that he started, and it's you know, I kind of look at it like I want to keep it going for him.
Local for you, Justin Holbrook, NBC4 Sports.